Hey, what's up YouTube? Houston here. And for those of you that's just finding my YouTube channel, welcome. Please remember to subscribe and hit that bell. For those of you that's been following me and supporting me, salute. And for my favorite patrons, always, double salute. Now, today's video, we're going to actually talk about how to fix your bad credit in 45 days or less. And yes, it is possible. However, there's some things that you have to do in order for this process to work. All right. So that being said, one is understanding who's going to give you the fastest return on results. All right. So you have your FICO score and you have your Vantage score. Okay. And here's the biggest difference with your Vantage score. They calculate more data than with your FICO score, okay? However, your Vantage score, there's a lot of lenders out there that don't use your Vantage score. They always pull in your FICO score. So when most people use like Credit Karma and stuff like that, and they see that they have a 700 credit score, again, those numbers are inflated on Credit Karma's website. And there's a reason for that. The reason that they do that to inflate those numbers is because when they're pulling in that data, the higher your number is, the more affiliated credit card and personal loans and that they can actually offer you. And the more that you apply for credit cards and loans under their system, the more money they can potentially make off of you. So that's the reason they're giving you this free Vantage scoring system. However, your score may not be 700. It can be anywhere from 50 to 80 points off. So that's the reason, like, a lot of people like, well, I applied for this credit card and they turned me down. So, like, I'll give you a perfect example. Vantage score, and you're using Credit Karma. So Credit Karma says, okay, you have a 700 Vantage score, right? However, they're going to tell you to apply for a Chase credit card. Now, Chase credit card, they use FICO 8, right? So that 700 credit score that you have, it may be only like a 650 or 620 credit score. So then you like wonder why I got denied, because even though you're on their platform and they're showing you this 700 credit score as a Vantage score, but you telling you to apply for a Chase credit card, and that Chase credit card is going to use a FICO 8 score. All right. Now, that being said, understanding the difference between FICO 8 and FICO 9. All right, where most of your bank cards, your Bank of America, your U.S. banks, Chase, Citibank, Discover, they all use FICO 8. The reason is they use that because they don't want any other inflated data to influence your credit score. They want to actually see real numbers, okay? So that being said, that's the reason when people say authorized users don't count. They're correct. On FICO 8, it won't count. Third-party data does not count. Okay. Now, some of the things that may also help you with the FICO score versus the Vantage score, if you can have $100 collection bill, right? Well, that $100 collection bill isn't counted against you on FICO 8. However, in Vantage score, that $100 bill is counted against you. Okay, so those are some of the things you have to understand. Then with FICO 9, so with FICO 9, their new system, you're allowed to add utility bills, authorized users, rent payment. All of those things can help you boost up your credit score. So the reason that I'm telling you guys this up front, because many of you all may not understand why you're getting denied, because again, one system is telling you you have a higher score, even like with the banks, like with even like say that you're going to do like American Express, right? So American Express, they'll give you a Vantage score. Now they pull from FICO 8, but they give you your Vantage 3 score. And so like with a Chase card and stuff like that, they'll give you a FICO score, but it may not be an accurate FICO score. So that's the reason I'm telling you guys. Like if you are a member of Navy Federal pulls from FICO 9. They pull from FICO 9, right? So you're like, oh, they gave me a card or whatever. Yes, because they pull from FICO 9. But if you tried that same score over at Bank of America, you may not get approved. So that's the difference in terms of if you're trying to fix your bad credit, you need to know, okay, the difference. And if you actually want to see more detail about your personal credit, then click the link below and actually pull your real credit score, because you're going to find out there's five different variations of your credit score. And speaking of that, here's something else. When you're trying to fix your credit, okay, there's some things that you have to understand. There's a difference between a credit freeze and a credit lock, all right? With Equifax, TransUnion, they'll do a credit lock for free, all right? Your credit freeze, they do it for free with all three. Your credit lock with Experian after 30 days is $9.99. Okay? Now, the reason that I'm telling you this is because in terms of if you're just trying to freeze everything and don't do anything with your credit, then you want the credit freeze. However, if you're trying to work on your credit while being able to access your credit file and stuff like that, you need to do the credit lock. Okay, so you need to know the difference and actually how to leverage them. Because say that you trying to apply for a credit card, right? Because lenders do not have direct access to your credit file and they try to pull it. If it's on a credit freeze, they can't do it. However, if you just had locked your file and they try to pull it or whatever, all they say, hey, you need to unlock your file, and then you can do that on your phone or something and give them the password to go in and pull the credit report. Because again, that's another reason sometimes that you'll end up being turned down for a credit card, because you didn't lock your file, you actually froze it, so that way any kind of data could not go on the file when you're doing a credit freeze, okay? Now, here's another thing that most people don't understand about credit bureaus, that this is also important in terms of freezing your file, especially when you're trying to work on it, all right? Now, you have Clarity. Clarity is owned by Experian. You have DataX, which is owned by Equifax. You have Trust Factor, which is owned by TransUnion. You have CoreLogic, LexisNexis, and ARS, all right? The reason that you want to freeze those files is because, like, you may freeze the major credit files. You may freeze your Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, right? So when you challenge to remove those negative items off, what they're going to do, they're going to take that same information and go over to the third-party companies that they own to verify, hey, is this address right, this name right? They don't verify the dollar amount. That's one thing that I'm going to tell you guys right now, is that where you trying to do a discrepancy of the dollar amount, they're not going to challenge that. They're challenging is the name and the address is correct, right? That's what they're looking at. So whenever you send in your notification saying, hey, this is not the accurate right amount or whatever, they don't care about that. That's not their concern. Their concern is, does the name and address match? And I'll tell you something else that you guys are doing. These credit repair companies out here that are popping up everywhere. People say, oh, I do credit repair, right? Well, when they send in that letter on your behalf, because they did not do the legal process, when they send that letter in on your behalf, they automatically code your file. So by them coding your file, whenever you try to challenge any other negative items, they're going to reference that code on that file. Okay? And this is what they use as leverage for validation. So that's the reason I tell people there's a honor process that you need to do, because when you do it electronically, yes, things will come off. However, once they code that file, you lose your rights. You lose your legal rights. And the only way to fight on behalf of you for your legal rights is to report it to the CFPB. Okay, that they're doing an inaccurate validation because you actually sent them documentation. And again, like I said, with these online credit repair companies and stuff, they don't give you the letter, and they don't give you any proof that they actually sent the letter. And because they don't do that, your problem ends up being that now it's taking you longer and harder to challenge those negative items on your credit file, okay? So that's what you need to understand. While we're talking about this, understanding about inquiries, okay? With inquiries, again, Experian, you make a call the fraud department, explain like, hey, I got all these inquiries at the same time. I only agreed to do business with one company or whatever. These other companies should not be on here. And they will more likely delete those other inquiries within 24 hours. Now with TransUnion and Equifax, you have to send in proof of identity. You have to send in a utility bill. You have to send in your ID. Okay, you have to send in those things to the actual credit bureau in order for them to do their due diligence in order to remove those inquiries. Okay, so those are some things that you need to understand. If you're trying to fix your bad credit, you need to start with the groundwork first. So locking up those files and doing it in an in-honor process, not just sending out a letter, because if you send out a letter or you have them to do it electronically, you are possibly going to lose your legal right to challenge those things if they come back verified, okay? So that's the reason I'm telling you guys, be very careful with these companies. Now, some of the things that you can add to help increase your credit score is adding authorized users. Like I told you, with FICO 8, most of your major banks, they use FICO 8. So FICO 8 authorized users won't count. However, FICO 9 authorized users, those are your fintech companies. A lot more of your credit unions and things of that nature, they're using FICO 9 to help you get approved for credit cards and loans and stuff like that. All right, so you need to understand this on what else you can do to boost up the credit. Now, in terms of like challenging those negative things, I just explained what you need to do, but now you need to understand how to actually get the credit score up high enough. All right, now here's another thing. In reference to a lot of people, they are trying to report rent on their credit file to help boost up their credit score. Well, these are the only three companies. These are the only three companies that are in the market that currently are reporting to all three credit bureaus. And the good thing about it is not only are they reporting to all three credit bureaus, but they report up to 2 years of rent payments and stuff. So you do have to give them access to your banking information in order for them to do that. However, it will report. And some people are like, well, my credit score didn't go up from it. But here's the thing about it, especially if you're trying to get qualified for a mortgage and stuff like that, with the new rules from FHA, showing consecutive rent payments on your credit, this helps you qualify for a mortgage, okay? Now, in terms of using secured credit cards, I always tell people, if it's possible, join Navy Federal if you're going to do a secured credit card in order to help you with your credit. Because, again, even if you don't have perfect credit, with Navy Federal, if you have enough internal scoring, high enough internal scoring, you still can get $10,000, $15,000, $25,000 credit cards. So where some people are like, well, the midnight hack don't work anymore. That's okay. Because to think about it, if you have a checking account, savings account with Navy Federal, if you have a secured card with them, and you have the direct deposit, this still puts you in position to where even if you were still in the low 600s or high 500s, that you still can get up to $25,000 in a credit card. All right. So the reason I tell people to start with the End Reward secured card with Navy Federal is because it only takes $200. Now, in terms of trying to unsecure it within the first 30 days, don't do that. I would actually ride it out for at least 4 to 5 months, maximum 6 months, because after 6 months, a good payment history and utilization is still reporting, but also adding to that, it's still going to turn into a $2,000 unsecured card, right? And you're in a position to where you can apply for other credit cards as well. So that's the reason I tell you, if you can have a direct deposit with Navy Federal, there are other credit cards. You have Andrews Federal Credit Union. They're a very good credit union as well. You have Alliant Credit Union. You have NASA Credit Union. So you don't necessarily have to be a part of Navy Federal. But one of the things about it, most people like Navy Federal because of their flexibility, even though you may not have the best credit score, but because you have good internal data, direct deposits, you're constantly depositing money, utilizing the account, making payments and stuff like that on time, they're willing to take a chance and give you larger lines of credit, whether it's on a personal loan or credit card, okay? Now, here's some other things that can help you. Like I said, in terms of building up your FICO 9 credit score, you have Grow Credit, you have Perch, which you have in the subscriptions. Also, guys, don't forget that you can use these companies. Sometimes they will report your car insurance or your gym membership. So you want to check with them and see if they actually operate in your state. So if they operate in your state, it's definitely a good situation to be in to where you can have other things reporting. You also have Experian Boost. So for those of you that have used some of these, let me know in the comments, was Experian Boost, Grow Credit, how much did it increase your credit score? Like I said, you have the pledge loan, the credit builder. Now, this is something I also want you all to understand when trying to fix your credit. A lot of people would go after these high interest rate credit cards, unsecured credit cards and stuff like that. Like total credit card, you have Premier credit card. So you go after credit cards like that, right? But you never think about you need to have a loan. So I would tell you to get a credit builder loan. Most likely, I would tell you to approach the credit unions for this. I wouldn't say not to. Like there's self-lender and other credit builder loans and stuff out there. They're okay. But the thing about it, you want to build a relationship with a financial institution that's going to be able to give you more money. So that's the reason I'm telling you to use like a credit union because they're more flexible. Once you have pledge loans and stuff like that, as the credit score increase, they're willing to give you more money much easier. Okay, so that's the reason that I'm telling you that. And of course, we talked about the Authorized Users. Now the Extra Debit Card app, which reports to Experian and Equifax. This is something that can help increase your credit score. And then of course with the rental payments and stuff like that, Boom Pay, Rental Karma. Perch also reports up to 6 months of credit history that can help you as well. Now, if you have any questions about your personal credit, about business credit funding, you can click the link in the description and check out 3-Way Funding or go to HoustonMcMiller.net. Thank you.